They say money can't buy happiness, but in my experience, it can certainly reveal who's really happy for yours. I learned this lesson the hard way after years of supporting my family only to discover what they really thought of me and my boring lifestyle. I'm Rebecca Chen, 34, senior accountant at Morris & Wallace, and until recently, the unofficial family bank for my parents and siblings. The responsible one they called me, usually with a slight eye roll, as if being responsible was something to be pitied. My younger sister Olivia was the free spirit, always chasing her next big dream, whether it was becoming a yoga instructor in Bali or starting an organic smoothie business that lasted exactly 3 weeks. My brother Marcus was the entrepreneur who jumped from one get-rich-quick scheme to another, each one requiring just a little more seed money to really take off. And my parents? They enabled it all, praising Olivia's bravery for quitting yet another job to find herself and admiring Marcus's business acumen even as his ventures consistently failed. Meanwhile, I was the one they called when rent was due or credit card bills piled up. It started small, as these things often do. A few hundred here, 1,000 there. Just until my next big break, Marcus would say, "I'll pay you back double when this takes off." Olivia's requests were more dramatic. "The universe will return your kindness tenfold, Becca. Besides, what else are you doing with your money? Working 60 hours a week just to sit alone in your apartment?" I didn't sit alone in my apartment, actually. I worked hard, yes, but I also had a life, one that was perhaps quieter than theirs, but no less fulfilling. I enjoyed my book club, my weekend hiking group, and my volunteer work at the local animal shelter. I had good friends who didn't need constant financial bailouts to maintain our relationship. But family is family, right? So I helped. Every month, like clockwork, I transferred money to cover various emergencies. Dad's golf club membership when he complained about losing business connections. Mom's luxury spa weekends because stress is killing me, dear. Olivia's endless spiritual retreats and Marcus's business ventures. The breaking point came at last year's Thanksgiving dinner. I just finished explaining to Marcus why I couldn't invest in his latest scheme, a cryptocurrency platform for pet owners, don't ask, when Olivia started in. "God, Becca, you're so boring," she sighed, picking at her organic, gluten-free stuffing that I had specially ordered for her. "All you do is work and save money. Don't you want to actually live?" Mom nodded sagely. "Darling, you're not getting any younger. Maybe you should take some of that money you're hoarding and do something exciting. Travel. Find yourself." "I'm perfectly happy with who I am," I replied, trying to keep my voice level. "And I'm not hoarding money, I'm being responsible with it." "Responsible?" Marcus snorted. "That's code for scared. Too scared to take risks, to really go after what you want in life." Dad looked up from his phone long enough to add, "He's got a point, kiddo. You could learn something from your siblings about following your dreams." I stared at them, these people who had collectively borrowed over $200,000 from me in the past 5 years, none of which had been paid back naturally because family doesn't keep score. "And how exactly do you think I'm able to help you all follow your dreams?" I asked quietly, "Where do you think the money comes from?" "Oh, honey," Mom patted my hand condescendingly, "we know you make good money at that boring job of yours. But what's the point of having it if you don't enjoy it? We're just trying to help you learn to live a little." The irony was thick enough to cut with a knife, but before I could respond, Olivia dropped her latest bomb. "Speaking of living, I've decided to open a crystal healing center. I just need a small loan to get started. Say, 50,000. It's going to be amazing. I've already designed the logo and everything." $50,000? I repeated. "Olivia, that's not a small loan." "Don't be stingy," Marcus chimed in. "You're always saying no lately. Anyone would think you don't want us to succeed." "Succeed at what?" The words burst out before I could stop them. "Name one project, just one, that any of you has seen through to completion. One loan you've paid back." The table fell silent. Mom's face crumpled into her practiced hurt expression. Dad suddenly became very interested in his mashed potatoes. Olivia's eyes welled with tears. "I can't believe you're keeping score," she whispered. "That's so materialistic. It's not about the money," I tried to explain. "It's about respect, about appreciating." "No, it is about money," Marcus interrupted. "You've got plenty of it, but you're too selfish to share. Too caught up in your safe, boring little world to help your family reach for the stars. I stood up, my chair scraping against the floor. I'm done. Sitting down to finish dinner? Good idea, dear, Mom said brightly, trying to smooth things over as usual. No, I said, gathering my purse. I'm done being the family ATM. I'm done being mocked for working hard and being responsible. I'm just done. Don't be dramatic, Dad sighed. Sit down and let's talk about this rationally. Rational? I laughed. Like how you rationalize spending $500 a month on golf while asking me to pay your property taxes? Or how Olivia rationally believes she can run a crystal healing center with zero business experience. Now you're just being mean, Olivia sniffed. I took a deep breath, trying to center myself. No, I'm being honest. For the first time in years, I'm telling you all exactly what I think. And what I think is that this needs to stop. What needs to stop? Marcus demanded. Family helping family. When was the last time any of you helped me? I asked. The silence was telling. That's what I thought. Starting today, the Bank of Rebecca is closed. Permanently. I left to a chorus of protests and guilt trips, but I didn't look back. In my car, I pulled out my phone and did something I should have done years ago. I downloaded a budgeting app and began calculating exactly how much money I'd given my family over the years. The total made me feel sick. $478,350 over 5 years. Nearly $500,000 gone to fund dreams that never materialized and lifestyles none of them had earned. What they didn't know, what no one knew, was that I had my own dream. One I'd been quietly working toward for years, carefully saving what I could despite their constant demands. I wanted to start my own financial advisory firm, helping others learn the money management skills my family so desperately lacked. And I had a secret that would help make that dream come true. Every week for the past 10 years, I played the same lottery numbers: my parents' anniversary, my siblings' birthdays, the day I got my first accounting job. Not because I really expected to win, but because it was my small act of rebellion, spending $5 a week on something completely irrational. The night before that fateful Thanksgiving dinner, I checked those numbers one more time, just like I did every Wednesday and Saturday. But this time was different. This time they matched. I'd won $47 million, and my family had no idea. The first week after cutting off my family was surprisingly peaceful. I'd expected a barrage of calls and texts, but there was only silence. I should have known it wouldn't last. The messages started rolling in exactly one day before rent was due. Becca, sweetie. Mom's voice dripped honey through my voicemail. We know you were upset at Thanksgiving, but surely you've calmed down by now. Call me back. Then came Olivia's text. OMG sis, having major spiritual blockage. Universe says I need to open the Crystal Center ASAP. When can we discuss financing? Marcus was more direct. Need $2,000 by tomorrow. Business emergency. Don't be selfish. I ignored them all, focusing instead on my plans. I'd already met with financial advisors and lawyers, setting up structures to protect and invest my lottery winnings. The money was safely deposited, growing through careful investments while I figured out my next steps. My family's next move surprised even me. They showed up at my office en masse, creating such a scene that my colleague Janet had to call security. You can't just abandon your family, Mom wailed as the security guard approached. After everything we've done for you. I kept my voice calm, professional. Please leave before this gets more embarrassing. Embarrassing? Marcus scoffed. What's embarrassing is having a sister who let her own family end up homeless. That got my attention. Homeless? What are you talking about? Dad stepped forward, his golf tan somehow making him look more pathetic. We're behind on the mortgage. The bank, they're threatening foreclosure. We needed that money we asked for at Thanksgiving, but you were too busy having your little tantrum. I felt my colleagues watching, whispers spreading through the office. Fine. If they wanted to do this here, we would do this here. Let me get this straight, I said loud enough for everyone to hear. You took out a mortgage you couldn't afford, assuming I would cover it. Without asking me, while criticizing my lifestyle and career choices. And now I'm the bad guy. We're family, Olivia sniffed. Family helps family. Really? Where was that family spirit when I worked through Dad's heart surgery, when I needed help moving? When I was working 60-hour weeks to support everyone's dreams? Security finally arrived to escort them out. As they left, Marcus turned back. "You'll regret this, Becca. When you're old and alone with nothing but your money to keep you company, you'll regret choosing it over family." I waited until they were gone before closing my office door and pulling out my phone. A few quick calls confirmed what I'd suspected. They were lying about the foreclosure. The house payment was due, yes, but they were only 1 month behind. The emergency was entirely manufactured. That night, I made a decision. It was time to start my new life, really start it. I typed up my resignation letter, giving my firm a generous 3 months' notice. Then I began looking for office space to launch my financial advisory firm. 2 weeks passed. My family tried everything: guilt trips, fake emergencies, even sending flying monkeys in the form of distant relatives calling to tell me how cruel I was being. I stayed firm. Then came the article. Local woman claims $47 million LOTER prize. The story ran with a photo of me accepting the oversized check, taken weeks ago when I claimed my winnings privately. I'd asked the lottery commission to delay the announcement, giving me time to get my affairs in order. Now it was public and my phone exploded. UWNDLOTER. Olivia's text screamed, "OMG, this is perfect timing." The Crystal Center. I blocked her number. Mom and Dad showed up at my apartment that evening. I watched through the security camera as they rang the bell repeatedly. "Rebecca Chin." Dad's voice came through the intercom. "Open this door immediately. We need to discuss your inheritance." I pressed the intercom button. "My inheritance?" "Yes, you can't handle this kind of money alone. You need family to help you manage it." I laughed. I couldn't help it. "Like you've managed your own money?" "No thanks." "We're your parents," Mom cried. "We have a right." "To what?" "The money I won. The money I earned. Just like you had a right to the $500,000 I've given you over the years." That shut them up. "What do you mean, $500,000? Dad's voice was suddenly sharp. "I have spreadsheets," I replied. "Every loan, every bailout, every emergency payment. Would you like me to email you the total? With interest calculations?" They left, but I knew this wasn't over. Sure enough, the next day I received a letter from a lawyer, claiming my family was entitled to part of my winnings because family contributions had enabled me to buy the lottery tickets. My own lawyer laughed when I showed him the letter. "They're trying to argue that by taking your money for years, they somehow contributed to your lottery win? That's creative." The letter went into my growing file of family manipulation attempts, but it gave me an idea. I hired a forensic accountant to compile a complete record of every penny I'd given my family, every transfer, every check, every cash handout. The total, with modest interest, came to $512,743. Then I set up a trust. When my family arrived for the meeting I'd called at my lawyer's office, they were practically salivating. Marcus had already drafted a business proposal. Olivia was carrying vision boards. Mom clutched her designer handbag like a shield. "Before you say anything," I began, "I want to show you something." I handed each of them a folder containing the complete accounting of what they'd borrowed over the years. "This trust," I continued as they flipped through the pages, "contains exactly $512,743. That's every penny you've taken from me, plus 3% interest. A more than fair return on my investment in your dreams." Their faces lit up until I continued. "The trust will pay out under specific conditions. First, you must complete a financial literacy course, which my new firm will provide free of charge. Second, any business ventures must be accompanied by a viable business plan reviewed by independent advisors. Third, all payments will be made directly to creditors, no cash handouts." "But," Olivia started. "I'm not finished. If you refuse these terms, the entire trust amount will be donated to financial literacy programs for low-income families. Your choice." The explosion was immediate. Mom cried. Dad blustered. Marcus threatened more legal action. Olivia declared that the universe would punish my negative energy. I let them rant. Finally, when they ran out of steam, I spoke again. "For years you've called me boring. Told me I don't know how to live. Said I'm too focused on money. But here's what I've learned. Money isn't about controlling people or funding empty dreams. It's about security, independence, and the freedom to help others responsibly. I stood up, gathering my things. I'm opening my own financial advisory firm. I'll be helping people learn what you never wanted to learn: how to manage money wisely, how to build real security, how to make their dreams sustainable. The trust offer stands. Take it or leave it. But either way, the Bank of Rebecca is closed forever. 1 month later, to my genuine surprise, they all enrolled in the financial literacy course. Mom cried through the budgeting session. Dad looked physically ill during the retirement planning module, but they stuck with it. Olivia actually developed a viable business plan, not for a crystal healing center, but for a wellness coaching practice that combined her spiritual interests with practical stress management techniques. The trust helped her rent a small office and get proper certifications. Marcus struggled the most, but eventually found his niche managing social media for small businesses, a job that satisfied his entrepreneurial spirit while providing steady income. Today, my firm is thriving. We specialize in helping families develop healthy financial relationships. Sometimes I share my own story with clients, leaving out the lottery win but keeping the lessons about boundaries and enabling. Mom and Dad finally sold their too-large house, downsizing to a comfortable condo they can actually afford. They still occasionally hint about sharing the wealth, but the hints are gentler now, more wishful thinking than demand. The lottery money, most of it is invested, funding scholarships and supporting financial literacy programs. I bought myself a modest house with a garden and donated to the animal shelter where I still volunteer. Not very exciting by my family's old standards, but exactly right for me. Last week, Olivia stopped by my office. "You know what, Becca? You were right. Being being responsible. It's actually kind of liberating." I smiled, remembering the free spirit who once mocked my budgeting spreadsheets. "It's not about being boring or exciting," I told her. "It's about being true to yourself and taking care of your own future." "I get that now," she nodded. "And thank you. Not for the money, but for caring enough to say no." Sometimes the biggest gift you can give family is the chance to stand on their own feet. And sometimes the most exciting adventure is learning to love your own path, even if others call it boring. As for me, I'm exactly where I want to be, helping others find their financial freedom, one spreadsheet at a time.